Welcome to the Lifting Lounge podcast. Join your hosts, Josh Parkin and Jack Buffery, as they give you the knowledge and the tools to take your physical and mental performance to the next level.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
How you doing?
I'm good. A little bit of car trouble today. Nearly died, as I've told you already. Brakes went on the van. I nearly crashed into someone sideways, which was great fun. I tell you what, though, for heart rate training, I'd recommend nearly crashing. Like that's definitely going to help with some heart rate training right there.
Well, before we get into that, let me just quickly run through today's episode. Hello, listeners. I hope you are good. Today's episode, the fit tip is going to be about recovery. Geek Corner is about a few things: a few new games out, some new trailers, and a little question about cartoons. And then our fit talk is about echo chambers. Jack loves me talking about echo chambers, and study time is about active children. And then our hot topic today is all about zone 2 training. Sweet. So Jack, awesome. You almost died. Have you had a revelation? Did you have an epiphany after the near-death situation?
No, I didn't actually. I was more impressed with how quickly I just managed to whip the handbrake up and save my life. No, it was fun. It was fun, you know. And then getting the van back to a safe place was also fun. Having to start braking about 300 meters away from the junctions, traveling at 10 miles an hour. It was great. But yeah, it's all good. The only other stuff that's happened that's got my heart rate up today is that today was definitely the coldest day of my cold plunge so far. Got in there at 6 o'clock this morning, still pretty much dark. I haven't got a thermometer, so I still don't know how much it was, but I do know it was 17 degrees outside. What's worrying me, however, is when I walk into the gym, I always ask Alexa what the forecast is for the day. And it said it was 17 degrees earlier on in the morning. And I was like, sweet. But it said it's got lows of 11. And I'm guessing this lows of 11 is going to be tonight, which means tomorrow morning, I'm guessing that water is going to be a lot fucking colder. So yeah it's fine. I don't mind it. I have to get in really quickly because the moment that water touches my nutsack as I drop into it is just like, that is the worst bit. So I just have to plunge my whole body in. But it's nice. I'm actually looking forward to it every day now, which is a good place to be.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really jealous, especially lately. I don't know. I think because I've been up late quite a few days lately. I don't feel like I'm waking up in the mornings, and I feel like that would be like the ticket. You know what I mean? To just make me feel so much better.
I think it's definitely the perfect time of year for it for me personally, just because of where it is. So where I am now, if I open my office door, there's some trees in the way, but it overlooks the lake, the college lake. So now the trees are starting to, the leaves are starting to go. I can just see it a bit nicer. And it was still, like I say, it was pretty much dark. Knowing that I'm like looking over all of that in the dark in an ice cold fucking tub is just like, I'm getting shit done straight away today. It's a nice way to start the day, and it's relatively like obstacle free because it's not necessarily a massive physical exertion, because I'm not coming in, I'm not training my ass off or anything like that, but it's a small win in the fact that it's actually a mental adversity win. So I'm overcoming that cold and I'm just getting that done. It's not like necessarily having to take a load of time to get a workout done first thing in the morning. So it's just it's an easy win that is actually mentally challenging at the same time.
Mate, that's awesome. That's really good. I definitely am jealous. I think as soon as I can, I'm going to get one. I'm put it in the back garden because there's no reason why not. And they're actually not that expensive, I don't think. I think they're reasonably cheap. So
yeah, I think you can get one for like less than 150 quid, I believe. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's well worth it.
Exactly.
Anyway, Josh, I need to ask you. Well, I need to tell you something. A little while ago, I was told by someone that sometimes our tips are not suitably dick related. And I was like, oh, not suitably dick related. I'm like, what are you talking about for our tips? And it's like, yeah, well, it's like the only way. Yeah, I mean, the only way I
my
can say
God.
it more shortly is by saying NSDR.
do you know what? I was like, for God's sake, that took me so long.
So
that took me so long.
I'm like, is that what NSDR stands for? Yeah, but I mean, I might be wrong on this. Does NSDR stand for not suitably dick related? Is that what our tips are?
That, for God's sake, I was like, what? Somebody said that? I was like, I'm pretty sure our tips are really dick related, but and that took me way too long. So our tip for today is, if you're feeling tired, try NSDR.
Oh, not suitably dick related.
Yes, that does not stand for not suitably dick related, but that was a very good one, Jack. I'll give you that. NSDR, if you don't know what it is non-sleep deep rest. It's a form of meditation, and it has been shown potentially to have similar effects to what sleep has on the body. So if you've struggled sleeping, or you're really tired, but you don't really have time to have a proper nap in a day, then doing some form of NSDR, which only takes about 10 minutes in the middle of the day, that's a great thing you can do. You can do it on your lunch break. You could do it at any point, and that might help you recover some energy. If you want to know where to do it, I literally just type in NSDR on YouTube, and usually like an Andrew Huberman one pops up at the top. I just do that one. It's really simple, really easy. But if you're feeling really tired and fatigued, but you don't have time for a nap, or for instance, you're like Jack who can't nap, then try some NSDR.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I still haven't tried it. It's something I really do want to try it. But does it, like, from your experience, what effects have you found?
It's very interesting. It's more about bringing awareness that you having control over your nervous system, and it does relax you. And I found I've done it before when I've started to feel like really overwhelmed with a load of stuff, like in the moment. You know, like sometimes you're having a moment where you're just like, shit, I've got to do like 101 things. Your mind's racing. You don't know what to do. You can't find a way out, all of that stuff. And I've just gone, oh, do you know what? Fuck it. I lay down, did the NSDR, and then came out of it like, oh, actually, everything's all right. And managed to then take the right path. But I have found that it does relax you in a way. And I think what it does is not so much gives you energy back, but it slows the nervous system down. So then it feels like you have more energy, if you get what I mean. You're just getting your body to like work on minimal. And then you can then progress further quite easy.
Yeah, it's like you can recuperate like what your nervous system has like been put through so far that day. That makes sense. So I haven't actually tried napping in a long time now. Probably like, I say a long time, probably like 3 to 4 weeks or so. So I'm just taking a load of pills at the same time. But some days I do feel like it, and I think what I am going to try next time I feel like a nap is that NSDR thing, because I don't want to break this streak of not napping, because it just makes me feel like shit when I can't, and then I have to get back up.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to try not suitably dick related non-sleep. No, what's it called?
Non-sleep deep rest.
Non-sleep deep rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that tip was not suitably dick related. So there you go.
I love it.
From now on, I'm only doing dick related tips. That's it.
Only dick related tips allowed, and be damned that person who said we don't do it.
That's sick. So let's move on to Geek Corner. Now, we've got a few things in Geek Corner today. They're all kind of like small bites of news, really. But the first one is Starfield just came out, and I figured I was interested in how well that was going to perform on first coming out, because it looks like a massive game on Bethesda, and so far the reviews are good.
Yeah, it seems to be a really interesting situation in terms of the reviews are all saying it's good. There is the public is saying very mixed things. I think there's a few things at play here. One is a lot of people are saying it's Fallout in space. I never played Fallout, so I don't know. But Yeah, we had this conversation in the gym the other day. Obviously, since Skyrim's come out and the other stuff, like Bethesda has now been bought by Microsoft, so it is a Microsoft only platform. That means all the Sony fanboys are saying, "Oh, it's probably going to be shit," or "We hope it's shit," stuff like that. And the other thing is that there's a game called No Man's Sky out, which is a procedurally generated space game, which is infinite, where you can literally fly into a planet and land on the planet anywhere on that planet. Whereas you can't do that on Starfield, which is what people were really hoping. They were hoping you can just fly into the atmosphere and land anywhere on that planet, but you can't. It takes you to a place. So because of that, people are like saying, "Oh yeah, it's not that good because you can't do stuff like that." However, what I have heard is it is overwhelmingly good. Like there's just so much to do. It's like Skyrim in space, like all those interactions, all those different choices. The character customization is supposed to be absolutely insane on it. There's just plenty of opportunity for everything. I don't know how deep the lore goes. All I know is that they said they'd written 300 years of backstory for it.
Wow.
So that's going to be quite impressive. I mean, but you're talking about people who wrote thousands of years of backstory for like Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls. So, we'll see how in depth it is. It looks visually impressive. I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to be a game I don't play because as much as I want to, and as much as the audience is probably sick of me saying this, I just don't think I'm going to have time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we was talking to one of my clients the other day about it, who I train, and he's got it. But I was like, it's probably a good thing that I can't play it right now due to not having the console or the ability, because I don't think I'd have a life. I would end up buying all of these, like, so they've announced Red Dead Redemption 3, they've got the new GTA they're making as well. All these games that are so fucking big, I just don't think I'd end up just never leaving the house because they're so huge and you can get lost in them. I used to just get lost in Skyrim, not actually doing anything. What I would do is, I was terrible. I'd never use a horse and I'd never fast travel, and I'd just walk from one bit to the next bit, whatever the mission was. And I just walk there and just hit everything on the way.
Yeah.
And so then I'm in it forever, just there for hours and hours, just walking around. So I'd end up getting stuck in the other games as well. Also, my arms look fucking wicked. I'm just saying.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's because of the Big Arms program, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out the website. But yeah, I think, I'm not going to lie, Josh, I think your willpower is amazing. I believe that if I was born the same time as you, my life would have taken a very different turn purely because of gaming. Because if I was like the if I was how old were you? You were 23 when GTA 3 came out, and you were like GTA
San
5,
Andreas.
sorry. No, GTA 5. Because that's 10 years old now. And you were 21.
20.
20 when
20.
Skyrim came out. Oh yeah, 20, sorry. Yeah, what we're talking about. So you'd have been 20 when that came out and 18 when Skyrim came out. So if I was that old when these massive games started to come out, I was 8 years beyond that, and that was roughly the area I've stopped playing. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is the one for me because that is such a visually stunning and in-depth game that I can't play it. I've tried a couple of times to get into it, and I've put what I consider a fair amount of time into it, probably like, I don't know, 20 hours or so, maybe a bit more. And just the fact that has barely scratched the surface, I haven't got time to it. So I want to enjoy those worlds that people have created. I just haven't got the time to do it. So I'm like, no, I know what's best for me. I avoid it. But I think if I was 10 years younger or even 8 years younger, same age as you, I think I probably would have struggled, and my life would definitely have taken a different course. Like I probably would have become a way more devout gamer just because of the lore and the stories and that. And I probably would have tried to do something down the computer game route.
Yeah, do you know what? It was very close. So me and my best mate, when we were young, we almost started trying to do YouTube. Like back in the day when we were like 15, 16. And that was like YouTube Prime. That was the early days of YouTube. before people started, like before the people you see now are as big as they are, like PewDiePie and stuff like that. And we almost started getting into that and trying to learn how to do all that. And that potentially my life would have been a lot different. Maybe it would have done nothing, or it could have done everything, but we almost did that, got into gaming on those, and that could have took over. It's probably a good thing I didn't, because I may have just ended up being really, really fat. But yeah. I managed to stay out of it. I think, like we've spoke about before, because I kept selling consoles and buying new ones, selling consoles and buying new ones. That's probably what kept me from gaming too much, because I've always kind of needed the cash. So it's the urgency for cash has managed to keep me out of gaming too much.
That's a bonus. Yeah, that is a bonus. I've still got all of my old shit somewhere. The only thing I haven't got anymore is I've got an N64, but not my original one, because I lent it to someone. I never got it back. So yeah.
I had a few mates from Leicester, and they had a friend who went to Japan to work, and he had all the like collectible Switch controllers, like Pro controllers, or the collectible ones of those, all the different ones you get. Yeah, tons of them, like N64 ones, GameCube ones, tons of them. And one day he comes home. Yeah, he comes home and they're all gone, and his fucking mum had binned him because she didn't think he needed him anymore.
That is mad. I completely forgot. Like even.
Oh wow! Look at
PlayStation
that.
3, yeah. So this is attached up to my projector. This is why I watch Blu-rays through the projector. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I've got pretty much everything I've had. I think actually no, I haven't got my PlayStation or my PS. I might have my PS2 somewhere, but yeah, it's mad. I do like the history of it.
Yeah. So moving on, we'll move on from games, and the final. Well, I'm calling it the final movie of the Snyderverse. Has dropped its teaser trailer. It's going to drop its full trailer in the next day or two. Well, upon recording, the next day or two. It'll be out by the time this comes out. But Aquaman, and I think it's called The Lost Kingdom or something along those lines. Let me just double check. But yeah, they dropped the Lost Kingdom, of course, and they dropped the teaser trailer. Come on, what do you think?
It looks shit. I mean, it just looks shit. I haven't watched, and it's I haven't watched Shazam: Fury of the Gods yet. That's on Amazon Prime to rent for like $1.99, so I might give that a shot this weekend. I've looked at renting The Flash out, but I'm going to wait until that. So it's just not interesting me anymore. But again, like this is that I can't tell, is it superhero fatigue or not? Because I'm not interested in anything that's being put out from either side of things. But DC is being decidedly shit. I really liked the Snyder cut of Justice League. I thought, okay, this is good, despite it being 4 hours long. I thought I liked it. I liked the tone. It was way better than the Joss Whedon theatrical version that came out. Yeah, it just looks bad though, doesn't it? And I almost feel a bit sorry for Jason Momoa, because I got nothing against him. I reckon he's great. He plays the character well, but it's fucking Aquaman,
man. Yeah, do you know what? There's something as well. It's the same with Black Panther 2. And I've seen Aquaman 1 as well. And for some reason, they struggle to make underwater scenes any good.
But then look at Way of the Water though. That was good. Like
but it was different though, in the sense that Way of the Water, like, so Aquaman and Black Panther 2, they had them like talking underwater and like living, whereas Way of the Water was more like exploratory and then like hand signals and stuff. It wasn't like wasn't like a whole civilization underwater. It was part underwater. Like they were free divers and then they came back out, and then they were free diving and then they came back out. Whereas Aquaman and Black Panther 2, they can't do like a civilization underwater that and make it look good and sound good. They all sound like they're in the bath going,
Yeah, I just don't know. It doesn't excite me at all. There's nothing. I've noticed that Amber Heard wasn't in the trailer. I don't think she was anyway. If she was, I didn't notice it. So she'll probably be in the bigger trailer. But
Is she in it? Is she in it?
Yeah, she's in it. She's in it. We'll just have to see how big a time she is on it for. But yeah, it looked. I don't know. Just like shit. What?
Yeah.
So, just on this note, quick. I know we've got some other bits to cover, but is there actually any comic book film or property you are excited about? And I know we covered this a couple of weeks ago, but because the only one I can think of that I am personally looking forward to, that I'm like, I want to go to the cinema to watch it, and it hasn't even been announced yet, is the Batman 2. That is literally, that is, I can't think of anything else that I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to go to the cinema to watch that.
Yeah. Not for the cinema. And actually, the two comic book things I can think of that I am excited about that are not coming out in a cinema but coming out in a series are not Marvel or DC. And that's Invincible and The Boys.
Yeah. That's a good point. We still haven't caught up with The Boys yet. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, Invincible is going to be brilliant. I'm looking forward to that. The Boys is great. I will probably watch Loki season 2 when that comes out.
Yeah.
Again, Marvels, I might go watch at the cinema. I'm not really fussed. If it happens to happen, it does.
Oh, actually, there is one. Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, that is a good shout. I don't know when that's coming out. That'll be next year at some point. So, yeah, Deadpool, I'll definitely go watch, yeah.
But do you know what I think it is? I think that we're a bit tired of, because let's face it, that yes, they do them semi for adults, but there are a lot for kids as well. And I think that's what it is. I think the reason you like Batman is because it's gritty and it's a bit more aimed at us now as we're older. So I think that's what it is. It's getting a bit fed up of the childishness of it, and more wanting it to be a bit more realistic, real world. That's why.
I mean, I guess
so, liking the spy stuff and all of that. I mean, you've always liked that, but I think that's why I'm getting into that more.
It's weird to me. I've just realized that. Oh my god, that is mental. Iron Man literally came out. Oh no, it didn't. Did it? How old are you? 30. Yeah, it did. Iron Man came out half your lifetime ago.
Fucking hell.
That's mad. It came out in 2008, I believe, which is 15 years ago. So yeah, it literally came out half your lifetime ago. And just think of how much the world has changed. So for context, I think Facebook had only just come out then, and the first iPhone had just come out in 2008, I believe. And when you think of it like that, that's just fucking insane.
Mental. Mental.
Yeah, so maybe you're right.
I'm gonna have an existential crisis now. So next is another movie trailer came out which looks really good, which I want to remember his name because because he seems really cool. Austin Butler is the main actor, and Tom Hardy is also in it, and Norman Reedus is in it.
Oh, cool.
And Michael Shannon.
I saw him in it. Yeah, I recognized him.
Yeah. And Boyd Holbrook, who's been in quite a few things.
Who's in The Predator. And Jodie Comer as well. She's doing really well.
Yeah, and that movie is The Bikeriders. Now, this looks wicked.
Yeah, for anyone who liked Sons of Anarchy, this looks like it's going to be good and right up your street. I don't know when it's set. It looks like 70s, maybe late 60s or 70s, possibly early 80s. I don't know. It's hard to tell when it's set.
Yeah, 1968.
68, okay.
Apparently, and it follows the rise of a Midwestern motorcycle club through the lives of its members. And apparently there's some truth to it as well. It's that is as bike gangs started to get big. And yeah.
That's going to be good. It looks exciting. It looks, violent, fun, raunchy, all of that shit. It looks good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I'm really looking forward to it. Tom Hardy looks like he's just nailing another role again. Anything that Tom Hardy's in like that, I've always kind of really like watching. One of my favorite Tom Hardy ones is Lawless.
Is that one with Shia LaBeouf in it as well?
The Prohibition one, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was the first Blu-ray I ever bought. I have some really random memories, don't I? There is only one Tom Hardy film that I've watched that I don't like, albeit I haven't seen Capone and I haven't heard good things about that. But the only other one I didn't like was just because it was a weird film. Oh, fuck, was it called? Oh, I was talking about it the other day to someone. The one where he's in a car. The whole film is him in the car on the phone.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
can't
don't
remember
know.
what
I
it's
haven't
called.
watched that.
You just gone really quiet for some reason. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just gone quiet. Don't know why that is.
Is that any better?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It's got a one-word title anyway, but it wasn't that exciting. But everything else he's done, he nails. My favorite Tom Hardy film is Warrior because it's just fucking great.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's such a good movie. So let's move on. And my final question here in Geek Corner is because this is just run off. You just sent me a video of Leonardo. It was like a little fan made video of Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just tearing up some bad guys. So my question is, what cartoon, like old school cartoon, would you like to see a gritty version of? So a more like adult style version of.
We kind of talked about this, didn't we, not long ago? And that's what. Did you ever watch that thing I sent you, the 15-minute Power Rangers thing? Please tell me you've watched it.
I still haven't watched it.
Man, you need to watch it. I know it's not a cartoon, but you seriously need to watch it. In terms of your question, it would probably be it's like a gritty version of. Do you mean gritty and real, or still cartoon but gritty?
I would say gritty and real, like that recent Batman movie.
I actually don't know. That is a hard question. I'm trying to think of all the cartoons I used to watch when I was younger, and like thinking what one that just crossed my mind, and this wouldn't be my top choice. It's the first one that came to my head. This might be before your time. Did you ever watch a TV program on CITV called Reboot?
No.
So Reboot was one of the first 3D graphics cartoons, and it was basically about the life of what was happening inside the computer and the internet and stuff like that. And whenever someone plugged in a game, then these characters would go into that game, and it was almost like that film that came out, which I can't remember the name of, that Wreck-It Ralph. It was that kind of concept, but it was just like these same characters would go into it, and that could be interesting just from like an AI point of view and stuff like that of what's happening in there, like how that would look if they remade it nowadays. Turtles would be a good one, to be honest. Like that, that would be great. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Nothing else I can think of off the top of my head. The obvious one, but it's kind of already happened, is X-Men, because that was one of my favorite cartoons when I was a kid. Other than that, I can't think of anything else right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like if they did, like we talked about before, the last Ronin, the Ronin one, that'd be amazing. That'd be so good.
So I know nothing about that, but yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, something along those lines, I think, would be wicked. Do you ever watch Samurai Jack?
No, I think I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah, that was quite a good one. That would be quite good, I think. But yeah, okay. Well, let's move on to, because we've been in Geek Corner for a while. Let's move on to our fit talk for today. And I wanted to talk about want to give some people some advice here, and for trainers and for people that just attend the gym, both of them, because this is really important. And it's about breaking out of fitness echo chambers, because it can be quite easy if you've been in the same gym for a while, or you've been a trainer in the same gym for a while and never really moved outside of that gym, to end up being in this fitness echo chamber where you only follow the same people, or you only kind of listen to your own advice. And I've been seeing it a lot lately, but then I also felt it myself, where I've started training at a new gym, and a few of my old friends who are their coaches train there. And yeah, it's a commercial gym, so there's a lot of people that are just like, training a little bit wrong, but there's also a load of people there that are like super fit and in good shape. And I was like, oh, and then I was talking to the trainers just about different coaches and different styles and programming and stuff like that. And then I was talking about people who I follow in terms of programming, and he was like, oh, well, actually, I follow all of these people, which are people I'd never even fucking heard of before. And then I was like, oh, I've been stuck in this echo chamber for a while of listening to the same people, following the same people, getting the same advice, giving the same advice. I've been in a bit of a fitness echo chamber. I need to break out of that. So then I changed my style of training a little bit because these people are way fitter than me. So now I want to be at their level. And I also want to like get my programming better. So I'm going to follow these other people to get my programming better. And it works in both ways to become a better trainer, but also to be fitter. I think it's especially important to train with people that are fitter than you, or train surrounded by people that are fitter than you. If you're training in a gym where you're the top dog, then you probably need to move out of that gym and go somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That last point you just said there. And look, with the echo chamber thing, it can work. It can and sometimes work in your favor if you're working out recreationally just to be fit and it's working for you, then that's fine. But the old saying is success leaves clues. So if there is something that is there someone who has got the physical prowess that you want, then look at what they do. Some people are anomalies and everybody is different, but there will definitely be patterns to that success. So if they are doing something that you want to be capable of, have a look at what they're doing, see what it would take for you to get there, and start doing it. Don't just the whole concept of insanity, as Einstein said, was doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you're not going to be able to run a marathon by doing powerlifting every day, put it that way. So this is why you've got to work out what you want to be able to be capable of, because if you know that, it means you know what kind of patterns you need to follow.
Yeah. And it's also the same for like, if you're looking for a trainer, be wary of the trainer that kind of only like they maybe they're quite isolated and then they slate everybody else rather than collaborating with other people. You know what I mean? Because I think that's something that is all the top guys in all of fitness there'll be the odd one who like slates everybody else, but all the top guys will collaborate on projects, and you'll see them. They'll work with each other and they'll discuss, and they'll go, oh, this person's amazing for this, or this person's amazing for this, or I learned this from this guy, rather than going, oh, they're shit. I want to listen to my way. And I think it's important to try and get out of that echo chamber in terms of fitness, which it is pot luck really for me. I was just like, oh, that gym, I'm going to go to there because it's cheap, training there. And then it's kind of gave me a spark up the ass and going, oh, I need to do better in my own education to learn these new things that are from these people that I didn't even know existed. And also I need to be a bit fitter because these guys are fucking wicked and I want to get to their level, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect. And it is such a good way to, and this is, it's a good way to assess your goals. Like I one of my pet hates is people judging themselves by others too much. But sometimes if you go in somewhere and you see that someone is doing again what you want to do, that is a good way to start setting goals if you don't already have goals. And then once you reach a certain level, then you start comparing yourself to yourself. But sometimes you can see what someone else is doing and be like, yeah, fuck that, I want to do that. That can be a good and healthy place to start.
It's the same in martial arts. So in jiu-jitsu, for instance, if you're in a room full of beginners and you just become the best at those beginners, but all you ever do then is roll with those beginners and just beat them all the time, you don't actually get any better. You get better by rolling with the higher belts. You get better by rolling with the people that are fucking wicked. If I went to like the jiu-jitsu gym I go to, I've been to is a great gym, but there's people above me obviously, and they kick my ass, and then I keep striving to try and get a little bit better than just let them kick my ass less, you know, and then I get better and better. But then if you outgrow that, doing that gym compared to like a world-class gym that's winning international competitions and running against them, that would be then my growth would be exponential because I'm training with the best of the best of the best. And so it's you want to surround yourself by people that the people that challenge you and make you push yourself that little bit more.
Yeah, it's just about that discomfort thing. You don't want to be a big fish in a little pond. You want to be in the ocean so you can grow to as big as you can. Yeah, it's it's the pursuit of personal betterment. I genuinely think is the meaning of life, because what else is there? Like, money doesn't count, because what are you going to do with that money? You're going to aim to make your life better. So I think first and foremost, fundamentally, you should take care of your physical health by approaching that way first. And if you are just doing the same thing over and over again, you're staying in a comfort zone. You're not getting better.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to study time. And study time today, and the title of the study time, or the article that we have today, is "Active Children Are More Resilient." There you go. This is from the University of, I don't know if that says Basel or or Basel, but it's Basel, and it was on September 5th, 2023. And I'll just quickly read through this for you. Get some exercise. It's one suggestion adults frequently hear when they complain about stress in their lives. Exercise helps relieve stress, but does this apply to children? Does exercise help them manage the pressure to achieve at school? A research team led by Dr. Manuel Hankey and Sebastian Ludiger from the Department of Sport, Exercise and Health recently examined the physical activity on children's stress levels. Their findings appear in a Journal of Science and Medicine in Sport. From their study, they had 110 children between the ages of 10 and 13 wear a sensor tracking their daily movement over the course of a week. They then brought the participants into the lab on 2 separate occasions to complete a stressful task and a non-stressful control task. The researchers tested the children's physical stress reaction via the concentration of the stress hormone cortisol in their saliva. So essentially, they wanted to determine whether physical activity makes children more resilient under laboratory-controlled circumstances. The results showed that the participants who got more than an hour of exercise per day, as the World Health Organization recommends, did in fact produce less cortisol in the stress test than the children who were less active. Regularly active children seem to have a reduced physiological stress reaction in general, notes Manuel Hankey, lead author of the study. Even in the control task, which involved an unfamiliar situation, making it still somewhat unsettling for the participants, there was a difference in cortisol levels between more and less active children. The overall cortisol levels were lower than in the stress task. So, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's fairly obvious, but it's the kind of reason I'm putting this in here is that we've talked a lot about how activity in children helps prevent heart disease. Activity in children helps prevent obesity. Activity in children helps prevent all of these health issues. But not only that, it helps them improve mentally. And it's this whole thing we're saying time and time again that exercise generally can be the best medicine. And especially if it's done from an early age, you're giving the children a chance to not only be healthy, but prosper more through school, through stressful situations, through anything that's thrown at them. So, because let's face it, school's a stressful time. College can be a stressful time. University can be a stressful time. All of these things can be stressful. But if you are regularly getting activity in, then it's going to make all of those things a lot easier. Now, what I'm not saying is that we should then march kids around and force them to be doing exercise. Obviously, it's not as simple as that. But trying to like routinely bring in activity as just a normal thing that people do to get up and get out in the day and do something fun is going to help make people way more resilient, which is something. Resiliency is something that is forgotten about a lot at the moment, and it's something that we need more of. So yeah, do some exercise.
Yeah, and we've talked about this whole idea of manufactured adversity to make us more resilient as well. So it's not just all about the cortisol levels and stuff. It's also about the mental response to that as well. It's like it is just being comfortable with it, and it's part and parcel of the same thing. Cortisol is the stress response, and it's how we mentally deal with that stress response. Bottom line is, and this is what they do in the armed forces, they stress test you to make something stressful seem like an everyday thing so you can keep control underneath that situation. This is no different. It is literally, that is one of the things exercises for. Oh my god, holy shit, that thing you sent me, that reel earlier on, I'm sorry, but that fucking sucks. I was triggered, man, straight away. So I'm gonna come out with this, and
Oh no.
no, I'm gonna say it. This reel you sent me, holy shit. So this woman was heavily obese, and she was saying the only difference between obese people and bodybuilders is the fact that they gained their mass in a different way, and they should have obese people on a stage to highlight both types of gained mass, not just the bodybuilding, but also the fat mass. Completely fucking neglecting the point of the hard work that went into gaining the muscle. It's not fucking hard work to pick up a cake and shove it in your fucking mouth. God, it makes me angry. So this is all part and parcel of the same thing. Like, if you can sorry, Josh, if you can build up the resilience of just putting your body through extra stuff. And that can almost be, when you're younger, that can just be the physicality of games. If you're used to pushing yourself to win a game, which there is no problem of doing, by the way, fuck the last place trophies off. If you can push yourself to do that, to become like just that little bit more mentally resilient, and your body gets better in the same turn, then this is just going to have nothing but benefits. I'm going to shut up and let you talk for a while.
It's okay. So the reel I sent Jack was the ladies comparing obese people to bodybuilders and how they should be celebrated in the same way. And my viewpoint on this is that what she's saying is that she thinks that obese people should be celebrated the same as bodybuilders, and I think she's misunderstanding what bodybuilders are. Saying that bodybuilders are being celebrated. Bodybuilders are only being celebrated by people who want to be bodybuilders. You know what I mean? That's essentially, yes, there is a stage where people think that is a sign of health. I mean, we've already stated that no, it's not a sign of health, but actually it's healthier than being obese. Yeah. So it's the only, when people say that, oh, my obese body should be put up on the stage with a bodybuilder to be compared, it's probably more out of insecurity from that person because they know that actually they're unhealthy. Yes, but the common argument to that from obese people will be, well, actually bodybuilders die from heart attacks all the time. It's like, yeah, because they take fucking steroids. That's why. Actually, if they weren't taking steroids and they were natural bodybuilders, they would be probably very healthy, you know. But the problem is promoting obesity when that should never be promoted, because whether people like it or not, is that it is unhealthy. Should you promote people feeling happy about themselves? Yes, of course. I don't want anybody to be depressed. However, you should educate that yes, you can be happy with yourself, but you also need to be realizing that this is unhealthy and you will potentially die or make your life much, much harder. So if you want to truly love yourself, then being healthy is a form of loving yourself, because you're treating your body with respect and the way it should be treated. So the problem is that so many people are trying to say, well, obesity should be celebrated alongside all of these other physical pursuits, when actually it's not a physical pursuit. It's just being unhealthy, and it's at a detriment to your body. And also, bodybuilding's a fucking sport. You know, it's a sport. That's what it is. It like everything else, just because it's a sport based on image, that's what people have the problem with.
So I'm not going to say anything else. The reason, what the hell was that? Can you hear that? Sorry, it's my alarm going off my computer.
No, yeah.
I'm not going to go any more into this just yet. I'm actually. So here's a teaser, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hear me click the fuck off, then listen to the next episode because I've just literally jotted down my topic for the next one. For Fit Talk, because this for me is just a fundamental failure of the world. So I'm going to kick off in the next episode. Make sure you tune in for that. But go. That's all right, Joe.
I'm sorry, but I've gone 70 fucking 4 episodes without getting you triggered, and now I've done so well.
You should have sent me that fucking reel.
I fucking shouldn't have sent you that reel.
Done me in. But back to the kids. Back to the kids. Obviously, yeah, if they can introduce exercise and generate that cortisol, it means anytime that cortisol comes into their life unexpectedly, they're going to be able to manage that shit better. And that goes for not just kids, but for every human in the fucking world.
Yeah. Happy days. So, moving on. So, I just love it. So, luckily we only get about 7 downloads an episode, so I don't have to worry too much right now.
This will be a viral one. I'm going to clip that clip of me going off on one and actually share the shit out of it as well. So it'll be fun.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, here we go. Right, moving on to our hot topic. And my hot topic for today is, what is Zone 2 training and what are the benefits? The results I'm going to give you today are... Oh, fucking hell. I'm going to
help you lose weight, motherfuckers.
God damn it. Oh, right. Let's start that again. Sorry. I've got to get my clip for social, so just shut up. Right. My hot topic for today, listeners, is what is Zone 2 training and what are the benefits? The results that I want to give you today to give you the knowledge of what zone training is. The drivers are, because it's trending again. It's the new thing in a moment. Is everything always is cyclical, and Zone 2 is now trending again. And the actions I'm going to outlay all the information here. So first and foremost, what is Zone 2 training? What does that even mean? Is that how many zones are there? Like all of that. Zone 2 training is a form of cardio performed at 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. So it's all what people would call steady state cardio. Yeah, it's not you're not going too hard. It's something you should be able to perform for quite a while. And if you don't know what your maximum heart rate is, because this is important actually, because a lot of people wouldn't have a fucking clue how to work out their maximum heart rate. So if you're wanting to do Zone 2 training, you need to work out your maximum heart rate. And to work that out, you can get a basic estimate of what your maximum heart rate is if you do 220 minus your age. So for instance, Jack's maximum heart rate would be 120, whereas mine is 190. So that's the kind of that's how you work out your maximum heart rate. So, and then from there you can work out what Zone 2 is by doing 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Now, obviously, if you're wanting to do Zone 2 proper, you would need to be wearing some form of heart rate monitor, or if you're in a gym and you're on a cardio machine, some of them already have heart rate monitors on them. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, then it's essentially something that doing some form of cardio that you can do for a long period of time and you're not super out of breath. You could probably still talk whilst doing it. That's what I would say to people if they were wanting to do it and they didn't have a way of monitoring their heart rate. Now, the other thing with Zone 2 training is it's all about energy sources and energy systems. That's what all these zones are about. Essentially, each zone uses a different energy system. And the reason Zone 2 is good is because it uses predominantly fat and oxygen as its energy system. Any kind of like high intense weightlifting or high intense cardio generally uses more of like your glycogen, essentially uses carbohydrates as the energy system rather than using fat and oxygen. So this is, I think, now why Zone 2 is making the big jump again, is because hybrid training is becoming quite big. Because of CrossFit, because of Hyrox, because of all of these different things. And what people are trying to get other people to do is to use different energy systems throughout the week so they don't tire themselves out. Now, that's why I think Zone 2 training is becoming a big thing, because people can still lift reasonably heavy, do these kind of like heavy conditioning sessions, but then also get some Zone 2 sessions in and not destroy themselves. It's like what we talked about before in our previous hybrid episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is. Do you know what? I'm almost glad this is coming back around, because everybody is talking, like it's always talked about HIIT. Now, there are massive benefits to HIIT, even in terms of fat loss, even though it doesn't directly burn fat like Zone 2 does. The benefits to HIIT is that you can usually get it done quicker and burn just as many calories, which is essentially what fat loss is all about. However, Zone 2 training, especially if you're already in a stress-laden life, and if your normal everyday workouts are very stressful as well on your body, Zone 2 doesn't have to be as stressful, because you are just taking it much easier, and you're improving your gas tank over time and just building up your endurance as well. So it's something I need to get better at, if I'm honest, my Zone 2 stuff, because it's nowhere near where it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is the best results the best shape I've ever been in, like aesthetically and fitness wise, was when I did a mixture of weights, like bodybuilding style training, a little bit of strength as well, coupled with Zone 2 training. And you can do it in multiple different ways, but I was cycling a lot. I was doing loads and loads of cycling, and I was then just hitting weights in the gym over many times a week. And I've never felt fitter in my life. And I was also in really good shape, which is great. And this is the one thing I'll say here. So we're going to go over all the benefits to Zone 2 training here. What I will say is the one thing the Zone 2 training will not be able to do is get you strong. Well, two things: get you stronger and build substantial amount of muscle mass. They're the two things that Zone 2 training are not going to be able to do. However, pretty much everything else is good for. Yeah. So if you're wanting to be in good shape and you want to be stronger, you need to be doing resistance training, and we'll say that forever and ever and ever. But most other things Zone 2 training is great for.
And this is the problem, why this is why dogmatic thinking is a problem. It's like, oh no, I don't do that, I just do running. Oh no, I don't do running, I just do weightlifting. Dogmatic thinking will not get you anywhere. It's the same with the energy systems themselves. Okay, so although Zone 2 does predominantly burn fats with oxygenization, it also will go into a carbohydrate thing at some point as well. It's always a mixture happening, and that is how you should look at your training. It should always be a blend of everything. So, albeit my Zone 2 is shockingly bad at the moment, I am still doing high rep endurance work for my muscles that are still going to have a similar response to that, as well as strength stuff as well. So you actually want to be getting the best of as many worlds as you can, but with the right balance for your goals. So that's obviously a key factor to look into. So yeah, if you're just doing one or the other, like Josh says, you can't build muscle or get stronger just by doing Zone 2. So you need to be adding some weightlifting in there as well.
And it's vice versa as well, isn't it? If you are only doing weights, you're not really going to increase your cardio. So exactly. So what are the benefits of Zone 2 training? Why should you do it? Well, there's actually quite a few reasons why. And the first is it generally improves your overall cardio output. So essentially, it's you want to imagine it as like a base level when you're doing Zone 2. You improve your base level output. And what that means is the harder, faster stuff, it makes that easier as well. So you'll find actually a lot of top end athletes, they do loads of Zone 2 training. They do shitloads of it. Like a lot of like long distance athletes and stuff like that, or even shorter distance ones, they'll do tons and tons of Zone 2 training, and then throw in like sprint work here and there, because it is it does improve your overall cardio output without like being too taxing on the body. So it's really good at improving it's building that really good solid base to then improve everything else.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest ways to highlight this is to think about if let's say you've got a kettlebell, okay, and it's relatively heavy and you can do 6 squats with it, okay, because you're new to training. That's great. That's 6 squats, but that's going to put you in the aerobic zone. The anaerobic zone, sorry, which is going to build your strength and muscle. But now let's say a year down the line, you can hold that same kettlebell, but you're now doing 40 odd squats of it. Okay, you're now in a place where you're coming out. You're probably seeing glycolytic, to be fair, but the more you can do it, the more your cardiovascular capability gets out of it, the more you can actually run, and the harder you can run your kind of zone 2 training and all the other zones in between, because you're taking up the slack. So it would actually be longer before you get to that maximum output with the purely anaerobic. So if you're doing anything that is more than like a few reps, then the better gas tank you can have, the more output you're going to be able to put out, and then the higher top end you're going to have. It's going to start to catch itself up, basically.
Yeah, definitely. So the next point is it improves your recovery. Now, by increasing your aerobic capacity, you can essentially pump your muscles with more oxygen, which will then help improve your recovery by flushing out lactic acid. No, so yeah, it improves how much oxygen you can take in, essentially. So it will help with your recovery. And actually, also, I found that people that train one day and then go for some kind of zone 2 training the next day, it has that like almost like instantaneous impact on their recovery as well. It really helps like push that forwards. So I always suggest people who are like get super dommy after sessions to like move and try and get out and do some form of something, even if it's just a walk. And zone 2 training can be considered walking as well. So yeah, it will help improve your recovery.
Yeah, and I think that's just remember the body is an adaptation machine. So if you are putting your body through train zone 2, then recover, train zone 2, then recover, or whichever blend of them, your body is going to need to get used to that. So it's going to want to recover because your body adapts to the stresses you put under it. And if you're doing that and your heart rate can like help with that oxygenization, then it's going to adapt to do that better and better over time. So you do recover more and more.
Yeah, definitely. So the next benefit here is it does lower your resting heart rate. Now, your resting heart rate is a sign of your cardiovascular health. So having a lower resting heart rate, unless you have some kind of actual genetic or some kind of cardiovascular problem, which makes your heart rate lower, that's a different situation. But if what it does is lowers your resting heart rate, which is something you want. You want a lower resting heart rate. And that, at the end of the day, is a good sign of good cardiovascular health.
Yeah, and we've brought up loads of studies about what what goes along with a bad resting heart rate and all the metabolic problems that come with that. So yeah, that doesn't really need delving much more into. But if you've got a healthy resting heart rate with no like hormonal thyroid problems or any other problems that might affect it, like blood pressure, then yeah, it's going to be good.
So I've actually got these two the wrong way around, but the next point is improved substrate utilization. Now, this is a fancy term. Basically, it's just your body's ability to use fats and stored carbohydrates better. So it gets better at using energy, essentially, and using the right energy at the right times. And it becomes more efficient at that, which is better for your overall health.
Yeah. Perfect. And again, this is all down to adaptation. Like your body will adapt to the demands you put it through. And if you're putting it through enough demand, it will use the right things to make sure it does things better.
Now, what that does in turn is it improves your insulin sensitivity. Now, insulin sensitivity is a word that gets thrown around quite a lot. And some people can become insulin resistant, which then has the potential to cause type 2 diabetes, causes you to store fat, and essentially insulin sensitivity. It improves that, which essentially is just it gets better at using sugar as energy when it needs to. It gets better at using. It's just when it gets better at using all this energy, then it doesn't store things that it shouldn't store, and then create more fat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't need to add anything to that, to be honest.
No.
And that's it.
So,
and if you can avoid going to pre-diabetic, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, these are all great fucking reasons to do zone 2 training. They're all like the healthy reasons. The other reasons are like if you want to get good at long distance work and even the short distance like sprint work, it will improve all of those things. And the other benefit is it's not hard, and that's the really important thing is, and it's not meant to be hard, and that's the important thing is some people will think they're going out to do a zone 2 run and they'll be gasping and dying on the run the whole time. That's not zone 2. You're training too hard. It's meant to be like just below moderate in terms of how hard it is. So that's what's great about it is if you feel like I can't get a hard session in, but I've got enough time to like sit on a bike and just go and make sure my heart rate's up a little bit, then fucking wonderful. Definitely a good idea. So how do we do zone 2 training? Well, luckily it's real fucking simple. It's not that hard at all. Generally, a zone 2 session would be for the average Joe would be anywhere between 20 to 60 minutes. Obviously, if you're trying to do like super long distance stuff, then you might need to be doing longer. But 20 to 60 minutes is generally the kind of time frame. And there's a bunch of different things you could do. You could do swimming, rowing, running, cycling, walking. One of my favorite ones to use for people sometimes is like an incline walk. If they can do hill walks around where they live, great. If not, an incline walk on a treadmill is great. Any kind of form of cardio like that. And then, like we said before, trying to get to a heart rate of about 60 to 70% of their maximum heart rate. And as I said, you need to really have a heart rate monitor to know exactly. If not, then just so you're getting a bit of a sweat on, but you can still kind of talk, but you're not dawdling.
I genuinely think the hardest part of doing this is the temptation not to go quicker. So keeping to 60 to 70%, if you're doing, say, I'm going to use a 3K run because that's what the lake is next to us. If you're doing a 3 kilometer run, you might have to slow down substantially halfway through it than what you started out at if you don't know what your pacing is, because your heart rate might start to go up way above that 60 to 70%. Now, there's two ways you can train this. One is to keep an eye on your heart rate monitor, make sure you stay in that 60 to 70% and don't go above it for the whole round. Or you try to keep your pace no matter what and go the whole way round, and over time try to make sure, just see how much your heart rate improves. So eventually you'll come to a place where you will complete that whole 3K in zone 2. But there's definitely benefits to staying zone 2 the whole time, and sometimes it can be quite uncomfortable to highlight how unfit you can be, or how not necessarily unfit, but how much you have to slow down to keep your heart rate at that. I know for me, I would have to, because my heart rate jacks up really quickly. Again, I need to improve my cardio at the moment, and I would have to go down. It's for me, it's impatience, because I'm an impatient person sometimes when it comes to running, especially. I want to get it over and done with, so I would have to slow down I'd have to slow down past my comfort point, like usually people get discomfort when you have to speed up more. I get discomfort by having to go so slow, and so I can imagine a lot of other people would be like that as well. That's the discomfort I have to put myself through, is slowing it the fuck down to make sure I stay in that 60 to 70%.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that is hard for some people. We have to tell people quite a lot, like, no, you need to slow down. This isn't what it's for. You need to relax now. Also, in terms of the amount you should be doing zone 2 training and how to fit it into your normal training, because this is really important. Because like we said, you shouldn't just be doing zone 2 training. You should be doing resistance training as well. I would say, depending on how many times a week you're training and depending on what your goal is. So if your goal is predominantly aesthetics or getting strong, stuff like that, then you could probably get away with doing zone 2 just once a week. If you're looking for more of a hybrid approach, then 2 to 3 times a week is good. But as it is all goal dependent, but at least once a week, I definitely would say get out and do it. It's good as a form of recovery. It's good just for your cardio, all of that sort of stuff. Definitely, if you can, at least once a week, get out and do 20 to 60 minutes of zone 2.
I would highly recommend, because this is a global thing, if you can find a local park run, no matter where you are in the world, there is one in most countries that starts at 9 a.m. every Saturday morning. If you can get out and do a park run, then that is a great, great way to improve it. It's just once a week. And I remember when I first done it, it improved my resting heart rate and obviously my zone 2. It improved that within 4 weeks, like just doing it once a week. And yeah, like you said, Josh, like adding another one into that as well is only going to have a more favorable thing. So yeah, and that's a 5K run. So 5K run, that's around that 20 to 35 minute mark for some people. It depends how quick you are. So yeah, definitely give something like that a shot. And also, like you said, swimming, rowing, stuff like that, it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, if you're wanting to do zone 2 training, you need to find out your maximum heart rate, which is 220 minus your age. And that's an estimate. I mean, it varies, but as you know, you're roughly in the right kind of area. So 220 minus your age. And then go to 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate for zone 2 training, about 20 to 60 minutes. And then at least once a week, or if you're looking to be more of a hybrid approach, then you can do it up to 3 times a week for sure. But make sure you're still doing resistance training. And yeah, zone 2 training, guys. I love that it's trending again. It's great. As we said, there's a time and place for everything. There's nothing wrong with HIIT training. There's nothing wrong with steady state training. All of it's great. But zone 2, what I like about it is it uses a different energy source, because most of the time people will be using these more intense energy systems when they're training, rather than hitting this zone 2 style of energy system, which then means you're not going to be as knackered for most of the week.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find now when we done the energy system one. What episode was that?
That was a while ago.
Yeah, so if you are interested, then you can go back to episode. Hold on, bear with me. Oh my god, I can't actually find it at the moment. Anyway, there is one in energy systems. I just can't find it. It's there somewhere. It is definitely, it's earlier on. So yeah, you can find out energy systems, and that will help you go through that a little bit as well. So have a gander through I can't see it and I'm going to waste time. So yeah, have a gander through our things. I'll see if I can put it in the show notes. But yeah, it's really valuable, and you will feel better for it. So I think that's the main thing. Like, you will feel so much better for it, more energetic, and you'll feel like you can run and jump and shit like that, which is probably my favorite part about being zone 2 fit.
Yeah, definitely. So Jack, I actually have a little fact for you here. I have a little fact.
I don't know if I trust this. So okay.
No. Did you know that apparently, and I only just learned this, that during sex you burn off as many calories as running 8 miles, and that blows my mind, because who the fuck can run 8 miles in 30 seconds?
Very good. Very good. I thought you were going to go somewhere down the lines of chasing them for 8 miles now. So, well, that's dark. But yeah, that's fine.
Yep. All right, Jack. Okay, guys. Well, you can find us at the RDA System on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook. And you can find us at the Lifting Lounge, is our Facebook group. If you are wanting to drop us any questions, or you want any topics for us to cover, then that's the place to go. We're also on YouTube, the Lifting Lounge podcast. Come and find us and watch our YouTube video. See me waving at you right now. And yeah.
Guys, sorry, I'm still trying to find that goddamn energy episode, which I cannot find. Yep, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Hit the notification bell, please, on YouTube. We have a few subscribers, but nowhere near enough. We want to feel your love. Please like, review, comment, share, all of that jazz on any of the things. Oh, Josh is looking now as well, I can tell.
Episode 52.
52. How did you find out that quick?
How to improve your energy.
Do you know what? I did not think it was that late. Maybe it is. 52.
I'm just so better than you.
I don't think it is that one. I think that was how to improve your energy in general. That wasn't your energy system one. I can't remember, but anyway. But yeah, guys, do all of that stuff for us. Please find it. Find the episode as well. If you can like comment on our Facebook page what episode it was, we'll give you a gold star.
Yeah. I'm fucking looking for it now.
Got
it. 27.
Oh yeah,
rest periods, the energy systems.
That's the one. Okay, cool, nice, well done. You found it. Look at the guns, Josh. It helps. You're leaning out as well, so it like looks even bigger. That's really good. Nice. Josh has got bigger arms than me, and it pisses me off. He's also a tiny person.
Bigger.
What's that? Just sounds like you're deep throating whatever you're talking about right now. So, guys,
see you later.
On that note, bye.